really be fair because they're not a national chain. But if I compare them to local chains, the problem is that there's a zillion of them, so I'd have Giles writing this very long query for me. What if I wanted to be hyper-local and capture everything in a 6-block radius that was their competitor to that one particular location? That would then mean I'd have to go and figure out every local restaurant where someone could be walking around in Times Square and sitting in there. So clearly, the web analytics demystified altimeter thing was more like a overall thing, but these people never really touched the data, never really sat down and thought about what it would be like to actually use that data from Radian 6 or anything else and actually work on these formulas. So that's why it didn't work for me, but the reality is that I felt like since I couldn't really get, in most cases, the formulas, I couldn't get the data to put in the formulas, I couldn't even agree on how to cut up the data so I could put them in the formulas, I felt like the idea of focusing on formulas didn't really make any sense to me at this point, since there's no consensus from the Web Analytics Association or the IAB on what the measurements should be. And I can't count on these guys to come up with it because they don't have the authority to. They don't have that share of voice in the field, so to speak. So basically the summary is that I think that social media ROI is entirely possible to get, but you would have to reinstitute, you would have to remodify your business and measurement goals to be very closely aligned in order to get it. And that's something that people are just now beginning to realize they can do. I mean, because there's new technical solutions coming up right now, for example. Again, all this barcode, RFID, geofencing, check-ins, and even if only a small segment of people now are doing it, the point is next year there's going to be more and more. And by, say, the end of next year, it may be 25 or 30%. And then, maybe by the year after that, it's going to be 60% of everybody's going to be checking in and doing something. So I think the idea that not the total audience is doing this stuff shouldn't really be a deterrent for anybody to get involved in this. I think we should just, like any business, should just work on what you have to work with. And in this case, Havana Central wasn't doing anything social media at all, really, to have people come in and just decide to check in and say, I'm having dinner here. That's the place to work out. I mean, can I take care of those people? Forget about all the other people and going after and inquiring. Can I just work with the people who came in and checked in? Can I give them a drink? Let me worry about them spreading it to their friends and let me be able to track that. But that's really where I'm coming from. Let's not try to over-design it. Let's figure out for every business where there is a place we can start and build out from that place. And in this case, for the restaurant, they're already in there. They're already checking in. They like the drinks. Let's work with that, and then let's build off of that all these other programs that we would do. And so basically my summary here is that most businesses I found at this point in the SMB sector, they're not ready to do this yet. They're not ready. They want somebody to come and make it really easy. Steadfast is trying to do it. I think there's other solutions out there that are trying to make campaign management easier. They're getting closer, but a lot of businesses are just really, they're struggling. It's the recession. It's been horrible. It's been horrible for businesses. They don't have time for this. And I think someone would need to make it really easy for them. Someone should make it easier. And then once you perform this data audit, you'll learn how to capture the data that, if you want it. If you want to make the effort to get it, and you're willing to spend the money and hire the right people to figure it out for you, you'll be able to get that data. But you won't get it unless you can link your measurement strategy and your business strategy together. And then again, it needs to be a very close alignment. Like the right people need to be talking to each other. The right middleware needs to be there. Everything has to be set up. In fact, I brought it up that, McDonald's, for example, or large businesses, franchises, when I go in to buy a Big Mac, it's easy, right? I mean, it's easy for me to go in there, and, it's not great food, and I'd die if I ate it for 2 months. But, I mean, they make it so there can be, 10,000 of those restaurants and reasonably have the same experience when I go in. So, I mean, I want consumption to be easy. But the system to define how people go in and how they interact, that could take tens and thousands of business hours of someone to set that up. That's hard. And I thought there was a confusion between doing of social media and I mean, taking advantage of it, where it should be easy for the person to say, get a drink when they come into Rhode Island Central, because they are just, you know, showing up, and Radiant 6 picks it up and tells us. That's fine, that should be easy. But the process of setting up the measurement and the management, that's hard. That's very hard to do. And, you know, it'll get easier as time goes on, but I think that people have confused those and said this should be easy, you know. And in my webinar, people were telling me that some people were saying, oh, it's great, people who deal with stuff, but there were people that were looking for something easy, like, just give me something that's easy to do, because all of this is confusing. And it really is, it should be easy for me to go in, tweet, and get a drink. It should be easy for me to do stuff. But for me to set up really good measurement is hard. And that's the thing I want to leave you with. This stuff is not easy to do. And you should be prepared to spend money and time and effort and fail at it even, until learn some lessons before you get some successes. And I'm done. You know.